the next time you have a frozen pizza with meat toppings, think of ethanol. They froze those toppings. The next time that you open up a soda pop or a beer, think of ethanol. And certainly when you go to get your vaccine for COVID-19, think of ethanol. All of those things require ethanol and the CO2 that we produce.
As corn grows, it captures carbon dioxide. When it's processed, it becomes a byproduct of ethanol. Welcome, I'm David Geiger. Ethanol plants are an efficient way to get carbon dioxide as a product. Think carbonized drinks or dry ice. In fact, ethanol plants produce 40% of the national supply of carbon dioxide. According to the Renewable Fuels Association, that's between 3 and 3.5 million tons. And with the vaccine for COVID-19 from Pfizer being administered this week, there's going to be a large need for dry ice, which is frozen CO2, because the vaccine needs to be kept at negative 94 degrees Fahrenheit. But how does it get from the corn plant to a block of ice? Monte with the IRFA Renewable Fuels Association says a reason corn is chosen is because it's a fairly refined source of CO2 already, so capturing the CO2 can happen early in the process. When grain is received, it's milled, cooked, liquefied, and then fermented. That's when ethanol plants can grab the carbon before it heads to the distiller.
We'll either vent or capture CO2 that is given off during that fermentation process. And if it's vented, it goes out in the atmosphere, and that's what the corn sucks in to grow the next season. So it's called biogenic because it's a closed loop. It's not adding net carbon to the atmosphere like you get if you burn fossil fuels.
So essentially, there's no issue releasing it back into the atmosphere, but with the right market, a plant can get a little extra income capturing that CO2 and selling it. Every bushel of corn produces nearly 3 gallons of ethanol, 15 pounds of distiller's dried grain, and 16.5 pounds of biogenic carbon dioxide. Before the pandemic, around a quarter of ethanol plants in the U.S. had the equipment to capture and sell CO2. Over the summer, when plants shut down, there were supply losses and demand spiked. With an increase in demand of dry ice for vaccines, Shaw says there could be another spike, which is one reason why the industry has been asking for pandemic relief.
So we are in kind of one of those weird situations now where you have a spike in the demand for dry ice. I think as long as our plants are running, we can probably handle it. But if we start shutting plants down because there are more restrictions or things like that, it's something that we're going to have to keep a close eye on.